Hi guys, so I've just finished Boy in the Tower by Polly Ho Yen. This is a book that I saw on a couple of bookshelves in like Waterstones, W.H. Smith's a few weeks ago, and it's a book I'd also seen getting a lot of praise on Twitter. Not quite as widely celebrated as some of the books I've read, but certainly a book that a few people I really respect opinions of had said was, one of the real books that stood out for them, one of their very favourite reads. So it was one I'd been planning to order for a while. I ordered it and got around to reading it last week. It's a really interesting story. It's a very intense story. It's a book I would strongly suggest was held back for Year 6 children at the very earliest. I think it's a book that contains a lot of loss, a lot of sort of strife, a lot of grief, and some quite vivid imagery. It's a book that focuses on a young boy, Addy, who lives in a tower block in London. He goes to school in London. He can see his school from his window, and at first, most things in his life seem fine. What begins to emerge is that Addy's mother is crippled with a sort of anxiety, and something happens which means almost instantly she refuses to leave home. She doesn't want to leave the building. She doesn't want to leave her bedroom. She actually sort of gets Addy to do a lot of the work you'd expect a parent to be doing with a young child. Addy's a boy who I believe is sort of 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, a young child. Addy is then sent out with her card to do the shopping. He's walking around late at night. He's essentially filling the role of a young carer. Addy is dealing with all of this when something really, really sort of worrying happens. These sort of blue, they call them the Belchers, these plant-like figures are engulfing the tower blocks around them. They seem to be eating anything metallic. They are destroying London. They're destroying his community, and everyone flees. Addy's best friend Gaia flees. Somebody he's great friends with, someone he is longing to be reunited with throughout the book. But Addy can't leave because Addy's mother doesn't leave, and he will not go without her. At first, they think that they're the only people left in the tower block and perhaps the only people left in London, but it emerges that there are a couple of other characters who have also refused to leave the building. Now, Addy's mother plays a big role throughout the book in the sense that she is a character that is constantly referred to, but she's a character that rarely leaves the bedroom and very much a sort of an absent mother in many ways. Addy is looked after in many ways by a lady called Dory, who does plenty of the cooking and also cooks for Addy's mother, and another character whose name I can't quite remember, who does a lot of great work in trying to protect the building from these blue strives of destruction which are destroying the tower block. There's messages of constant hope throughout this book. Those who are left in the tower, they refuse to believe that they're going to get engulfed and destroyed by this. They believe that they are going to survive, that someone will come from them, and they've discovered that salts can keep these horrible sort of monstrous figures at bay. But they're running out of salt, and they're just desperate to believe that someone else knows that they're there, that someone else can come and save them. I don't want to ruin the story. I don't want to go too much further into it because it is a book that is well worth reading. It's a very exciting read. It's a story that I found myself wanting to read on and find out a little bit more about. But what I would say is it's a story of hope. It's a story of loss, of grief. There's lots of messages that I could think to. I know children that I have taught that fulfill a sort of young carer capacity and are perhaps doing so much more at their very young and tender age than children perhaps should. All I was thinking throughout is, can't this poor boy just be a child and live that wonderful childhood that he should be living, when instead he's having to put up with so much? And it's easy to forget that there are children all around the world that do have to put up with so much themselves. It's a really good book. As I say, not one I'd be rushing to recommend to my Year 4 class. I think it's a bit too heavy. I think whilst it's a really good read and a book I love, it is a book I'd suggest for year 6, 7, 8, 9 children, early secondary school. Boy in the Tower by Polly Ho Yen, really good book. Builds some fantastic imagery in your mind. There we go. Thank you. Cheers, guys. As always, if you enjoyed it, please do give me a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you hit subscribe, try and build the channel a little bit. Thank you.